I don't want to be known as a sick person, but in reality, I have rheumatoid arthritis. It's an autoimmune disease, so I have a chronic illness, disease, condition, or more specifically, a disability. I'd rather be known as a video editor who teaches in-person and online classes. I'd like to be known as a Spanish teacher. Did you know I teach Spanish? I'd rather be known as being a wife and a mother. I don't want to be known as a sick person. But that's my reality. Hello friends, it's Casey Slate. I wanted to do a vlog style video for you today, just to share with you something that I thought about recently. I actually said this to my husband and I thought, wow, this is really how I'm feeling right now. And what I said was, I don't want to be known as a sick person. And when you're talking about online brand identity, which I recently talked about with my students in my class. If you hear something, it's because I have a dog. Let me show you. Here's Bella. She's a mess right now. I really need to fix her hair. If you hear any click-clacking around, that's Bella. Your brand identity is not necessarily just your online brand, because a lot of people don't have an online brand. It's not necessarily that. It's about identity in general. What's been challenging about receiving a difficult diagnosis is that my identity is changing. The things that I used to be able to do, I can't do anymore. One of the stages that we go through when we receive a difficult diagnosis is we either think about the past, the present, or the future. And sometimes when we're thinking about the past, we're thinking about the things that we used to be able to do. Like for example, I live in the mountains, and so right now I can't walk for more than like 10 or 15 minutes, and then I probably need a wheelchair. And so there's no way I could go hiking right now. I used to be able to do that. We used to go to amusement parks and do a lot of walking. I mean, like 10,000 steps a day type of walking. I know I'm not able to do that. So when I look at my past, I'm like, okay, I can't do that anymore. When I think about the present, I'm thinking about this summer and then the heat. How am I going to handle the heat? I don't know. Is it going to affect me in a negative way? And then when I think about my future, I actually have a grandma right now who just turned 97, and she doesn't have any arthritis at all, like osteoarthritis. She doesn't have any health issues except for just, slowing down as you get older. And I assumed that I was going to be like her, that I was going to be a very active grandma, high energy. That's what I thought was going to be my future. And so now that I'm having to use a cane more often, wheelchair, things like that, it just radically changed. I can't even take Bella for a walk anymore like I used to, and it's really sad. Hey Bella, do you hear the birds? Whenever you try to film outside, birds just seem to like show up and start making a bunch of noise. We actually have a lot of turkeys that live here, and they're always just roaming all over the place, which is hilarious. Can you hear them? It's like as soon as I come out here, they're just like talking up a storm. You know, the interesting part is while I'm home and I just do a little bit of walking, I can sometimes forget that I even have, I guess, what you would call a disability. But then as soon as I leave and I start going somewhere and start walking a lot, then I realize, hey, there's something wrong. Like I can't do everything that I used to. Just before my diagnosis, I was in a really good spot. I had just lost 20 pounds, and I can't even believe I even weighed 20 pounds heavier, but I had just lost weight and I was feeling so good. And I had just started a new website, had launched my brand new online class, and everything was going great. So it was just so weird that I received such a difficult diagnosis at that time. What I would rather share, I would love to share things that I teach my in-person class. So recently, I came up with this quote myself. I said, even though videos, iPads, phones, laptops, video games, etc., can bring us a lot of joy and entertainment, knowing when to turn it off is a sign of wisdom. Those are really helpful things just for tips in life in general. I don't want all of my content to be just about my illness or my sickness. I think that when you do something like that, you go down a path like that where it's all about one thing, you know, it can kind of be dangerous. It kind of consumes you, and then your life is consumed by that. I don't want to be known just for having RA. There's a lot more to me than that. I'm a wife, I'm a mother. I love to cook. I actually like to sew. I have a degree in Spanish. I teach Spanish. I live in the mountains. I love to share tips and helpful things. I have such a giver's heart. I have a teacher's heart. So if I didn't want to be known as the sick person, then why did I record my diagnosis story in the first place? Well, it's because I'm a storyteller through video. And as I was going through this process and my life was changing, I have a lot of family that live all across the country. I wanted to somewhat tell my story about how things have changed and what happened. And I just had a vision that came to me of creating it. And so sometimes when I have a vision of what I want to create in video, I just want to create it. That's basically what I did. I initially created the video, or the diagnosis story video, for my family, and I uploaded it as unlisted, so it was private. And then eventually I realized there are a lot of other people that have posted their diagnosis stories, and it has been very helpful for me. And so I thought, well, the way those stories helped me, maybe I could help others. And so that's the reason why I decided to post it. And right before I clicked public and save, it made me a little nervous, because when you become vulnerable and you share, intimate, private details, it's a little nerve-wracking. So whenever someone asks me like, how are you doing? I want to make a video about this because I came up with this concept the other day. And so at some point I'll make a video about it where it's like, you know, my pain level may be better, or my fatigue is worse, or my mobility is worse, but my fatigue is better. You know, it just depends. I've actually narrowed it down to 5 different things that, you know, would influence my answer if you ask me like, how are you doing? Oh, it's like 5 different categories that I could tell you about. So I'll make a video about that sometime in the future. I'd also like to make a video about what does an RA flare feel like, about the different tools that I use, like this blanket here. And I also have these heated boots that I could share with you, and a lot of other things, like things I use in the bathroom, things that I use in the kitchen, things like that. That would be good to share. Another thing that's difficult is the whole invisible illness thing. You know, you don't look sick, but you are sick, and that's so difficult sometimes, you know, like when I'm in public. Please let me know in the comments below if you like this style of video, or maybe you don't. That's okay. To see more of my journey, please subscribe to my channel because it really does help to support me. And I'll see you in the next video, friends. Bye. This is ridiculous. I keep kicking it. I'm used to sitting and doing very formalized videos with a lot of B-roll. I don't even know if I need to be going into this much explanation because y'all are not video editors. Sí, hola amigos, soy una maestra de español. Oh my gosh, I think I'm getting like a pimple, and I haven't gotten pimples in so long. Man, it's like I need to powder my nose or something. I don't want to be a Rudolph.